Now we've got to get ourselves right across town, or at least I have, to the Viking site. But it's actually Paul who's drawn the really short straw, because to help us understand what a medieval hospital was doing, we've volunteered him to find out how the sick were treated in the Middle Ages. He's in our medicine tent with Carol Rawcliffe.
Well, Carol, I'm feeling none too well, and it's the 13th century, so I crawl to hospital. Is it just like arriving at casualty?
No, you've got to forget any idea about a resemblance with a modern hospital. It's completely different. None of the high-tech stuff at all. The first thing you do when you arrive is confess your sins, so your soul's healthy. Then they take you into the open ward and they make you comfortable. You're in bed, you're clean, and you've got nourishing food, and that is part of your therapy.
Well, I'm desperately poor and I'm desperately ill, so that's already going to make me feel a lot better. But what is there for me in terms of treatment and medicine?
Well, this, of course, is an age before antibiotics and antisepsis, and most of the medicine that's available for the sick poor is herbal. Now, the nurses at St Leonard's were very skilled herbalists, and they grew a lot of the produce themselves.
Well, this is all looking very impressive, but look, I've got terrible ulcerated weeping sores. What can you do for me?
Oh, I've just got just the thing. This is plaster Bartholomew. It's plantain, parsley, honey and flour.
Which is antiseptic, of course.
Right, so that goes on to here, and that's a sort of a poultice bandage. Yeah, I think that would probably do the trick. So my wounds are dealt with, but I've got terrible toothache. Awful, awful toothache. What you got for me?
Here, this is sage and salt tooth wash, which helps to keep your teeth white, and it also has antiseptic.
Wow, that's very strong, but it's very scented as well.
Yes, smell is very important in medieval therapy. It goes right to your vital spirits, you see, and hospital wards were often actually perfumed.
That's a bit better. I feel my senses are lifting here, but my toothache's getting worse, honestly.
You can try this as mint, wine and vinegar. This is like a gargle.
So this is a gargle, not to be drunk, though?
Well, just gargle it round and then see what you think.
Oh. Absolutely disgusting.
Well, I'm sorry, but the next step is to pack your tooth with raven's dung, which would start to rot your tooth out.
I don't know which of those sounds worse, to be honest with you.
If you've still got pain, then you heat this needle red hot, put it down here, which aims it into the tooth, and it'll burn the nerve out.
This is all looking rather frightening and technical now, Carol.
Yes, we're getting up to the Harley Street end.
Oh, we are.
This is the high-tech stuff, which is available for the canons rather than for the patients. And it might be that you have to resort to the phlebotomist's knife and bowl. That is bloodletting.
But I've heard there are other forms of bloodletting as well, Carol.
Yes, there are, but we're saving those for later in the programme.
I don't like the sound of this, Tony. I've got a feeling that there's something coming up towards the end of the show that I'm not going to particularly like.
That was Paul, who's probably going to look a lot paler by the end of the programme. Well, I've haired up. Oh, I'm here. I wish you could have seen that journey across York, but while I get my breath back, I think we should try to go over to Paul once more at his medieval medicine tent. I think he's got one more piece of high-tech treatment to try out. Paul.
Carol, why this mad obsession with bloodletting?
It's not a mad obsession to them. It's based on solid scientific theory.
Right.
You see, the blood is believed to carry 4 humours. Sanguine, melancholic, choleric and phlegmatic.
Yeah.
And if you have too much of any of them, they make you sick. So the idea is to bleed it off and then restore the balance.
Well, my humours are pretty balanced, aren't they, really?
Well, you look a shade too sanguine to me, at least so far in the programme. You see, this is what a barber surgeon, actually a York barber surgeon, would do. This is his
bloody
chart.
fingerprints on it.
Yes,
it's
it's used. And these show where you would be bled, depending on what was wrong with you.
Well, I certainly don't want any blood taken from round here. I'm not very keen on that idea at all, actually, Carol, I have to say.
Well, for a delicate little plant like you, we can arrange something else. Meet a leech.
That's a leech, fine. What are you going to do with it?
Specially starved medical leech, and it's going on you. It's very hungry.
Come on, hold her up.
Oh, that's revolting. No.
There it is.
How long does this thing have to stay on me for?
It'll stay on for at least 15 minutes once it attaches.
15 minutes? Well,
Yep.
oh, that is horrible. Well, Tony, I have a feeling that 15 minutes, the length of time between now and the end of the programme, would that be the case?
Yeah, funny you should say that, Paul. I think it's probably about then. So, hang on in there. After the break, I'll be catching up with our dig in what we hope is a Roman burial ground. We're going to be meeting our DNA specialist, and we'll round up on the best finds of the day. So, hang on in on Channel 4. We'll get to Paul before he gets eaten up by the meat leeches. Paul, how you doing?
I'm fading fast, Tony. You better get over here as fast as you can.
Darling, you poor thing. You must
must feel terrible.
Well, it's quite sore, actually. It's like these
no,
little
I was talking
pinpricks.
to the leech, darling.
Thanks very much.
It took us ages to get him on. He's never worked with leeches and children. He's a learner.
Would you
believe you use them in modern microsurgery?
Is that right?
Apparently so.
Can I take it off, or will it...
Oh.
No, leave it.
You have to leave it
You
there.
have to leave it till it's had its one and only meal.
So this leech is only eating once in its life?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, well, this is more of an animal welfare exercise to me then, isn't it? You know, I think it's a giving sort of thing.
Is it hurting
Yeah,
you?
it's like a nettle sting. And he's sort of really latched in now. He's starting to fatten up.
Oh, it's quite unpleasant.
I think my humours are actually starting to
Oh,
improve.
you're a better
though.
man now. You're a better man now.
Feeling very unhumorous, actually.
I'm going to make it even worse for you, because as well as having leeches on your hand, tomorrow we might be looking at Viking food. We might be eating one.
I think I might just stick with wearing one.
You don't fancy eating a leech tomorrow, Tony?
If you think I'm eating anything that's been stuck on his hand for the whole afternoon, you've got to be joking. It really is rather unpleasant, isn't it?
Well, he said he was looking forward to meeting you, actually, Tony, because I think he's after 2 meals today.
I don't think that I'm really looking forward to meeting him. We're out of time now, but it's been a fantastic day. And with one day gone on our most ambitious time team ever, we've started to uncover the largest medieval hospital in Britain. We've begun to extract DNA from a Roman citizen of York who died over 1700 years ago, and we've had our first tantalising glimpse of what we think must be a Viking house. We'll be back tomorrow at 1:45, but from now on, from all of us here in York, it's goodbye from Time Team Live.